Hey, you guys, I am so excited to be here again today. I've got Tina Patch and Rachel Cannon, two really special friends and people that I have met through the Mere Word group, Bible study group that meets on Wednesday evenings. And today, you guys, okay, so if you've had the opportunity, I've done recording before. I'm Amy Hauser. I've got amykhauser.com, made for more with Amy K. Hauser. And I put some different videos, all kinds of things out there. But I love just talking to fellow sojourners on this place of moving into understanding who we are in Christ more and more every day. The Mere Word Bible is awesome at just opening our eyes, and the language that is used by Francois Dutoit to awaken what's inside of us, what's always been there. And so these are two friends that also love the language, the words, the expression used in the mirror. And today, we are chatting a little bit about a commonality that we have, yeah, in our oneness, in our union with Christ, in but with so many people, which is writing, and talking a little bit about writing. And so, we're just going to chat a little bit about, like, these are fellow authors, writers, people that feel that stirring in their heart by Abba to express, um, convey, share, connect through written words. And I'd love to hear from both you guys just a little bit about your writing journey. Like, I don't know about you, but sometimes it feels really weird to say, yeah, I'm an author or I'm a writer. But when we can step into that ownership of like who we are, it's pretty awesome to do that. Not about pride, it's just about one facet of the diamond. So you guys, tell me, whoever wants to go, tell a little bit about what has made you a writer, where that kind of started to be an element of knowing who you are. Whoever wants to go.
Well, I'll go maybe first because it's quicker than Rachel. She's,
Oh, just go. We'd love to hear from you, Tina.
but yeah. So I'm writing, soon to be author. That's what. Yeah. So I've been probably maybe for the last 3 years now. Been working on a book, um, possibly series preteen kind of story about like adventure and mystery, family, friends, the kingdom. Um, so yeah, I it was probably about 3 years ago. I remember when my son was 8 because King Josiah in the Bible became king at 8. And I just remember, oh, you're 8 to my son at the time. Anyway, I was reading him this story about like monsters or something, and I was like, I could write better than this. And it could be like about value and identity, and where he would really like reading the book, and it would mean more. And then after I thought about that, it was like something just happened and download just happened, and all these, it just kind of like floodgates opened. And I didn't realize it, but yeah, then I moved into this new area in my life of writing. So then I kind of had little pieces that I started to, like a puzzle piece. I had like the little pieces of the puzzle, and I just start to write down different things that would come to me, different dreams or different like visions that I would see. And then but it was just really hard, like moving or getting motivated or moving along. Anyway, and then one of my friends said, just even if it's just like 5 minutes a day, just write for 5 minutes a day, like what comes to mind and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, even if I just do 5 minutes a day. Anyway, and then it was probably about a year and a half ago, Pat and Pam, who are part of the Mirror Word, um, who host that, they told me about Robin Smith. She's with the Writers Society, and that she had a writers group, and then she was doing like a first draft class. So I ended up doing those with her, and that really set me going. And then so now I'm up, probably up to my third draft with the first book. I want to kind of do a series, and they kind of go off of each other. And I just found that as I've just been going and writing, like it just is flowing, like what's all the different things that God's kind of put on the inside of me is like coming out, and it's just very, people say it's cathartic, like it's just like I never knew like what such a what like the treasure that was on the inside. I never knew that it's such a treasure and that it's been there, and that just
Mm.
from writing and the flow of it, like how it's I don't it's hard to put into words. I guess I gotta maybe write it out like to find out how to put it into words. But it's very profound, and it's very like this deep well that's on the inside is just like coming out like and flowing, and it's just really cool. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the ride.
You
Yeah.
know, as you are explaining like that process of like how it just started coming and then you did it, like you started writing things down, you just started and then that flow continues, right? Isn't that just really what happens? Like you start versus just keep it in your head and brew like, oh, I can't do that or all the reasons I shouldn't versus just doing it and then more and more just starts to come.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm hearing,
Yep.
right? Right. So let me ask you a question about that, Tina. Did you like, was writing something when you were younger? Did you enjoy writing, or was this a really like kind of out of the blue for you?
Really good question. It's funny. My friends would always say, like, whenever I would write in their cards, they're like, Tina, you write a book. Like, you write like you write a book. And so, and I just remember in school too, when I was younger, we had to put like this book together, like, make a book. And every now and then I would think of that. And it was like something that stuck with me. So these little things that I've done, they stuck with me. And I really do like writing, and when I do write in a card or for somebody, or when I write to someone, there I guess there has always been something there, and I didn't really realize it until maybe 3 years ago, like a few years ago, that there was something more there.
So
So
those little forehead kisses all
yeah,
along your life, right? Let go. This is
yeah,
for
yeah,
this.
yeah. Never
Awesome.
never would have thought.
How did it start for you, Rachel Cannon?
She paused.
I don't know what happened with Rachel. I don't think she's there.
I see her image on the
I
screen.
know. Like but she like froze just staying still. And
Oh, here she is.
oh, there you're back.
I guess my Wi-Fi cut out for a minute.
Where
Are
did
you
we,
guys still going?
what? We're still recording.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then I just literally asked you a question like 10 seconds ago that said, how about you? Where did you start from, Rachel? How did it all
Oh
start for
man.
you?
Well, I always loved to read and write also. I remember as a little girl, reading like Laura Ingalls sitting in the corner of my room, reading about Little House on the Prairie. Remember that series? Or like reading like all the Nancy Drew books. Remember how many Nancy Drew books there were? Like all these kids' mysteries. So it's fascinating that you're writing preteen, stuff, Tina, because that's when my mind, was really, oh gosh, I would say impressed with by reading. I could go off into my own world. It was like a little escape for me. And so to think of an author um, helping these teenage kids escape into a greater reality of truth is astounding. And bravo. I say kudos to you, man. That's just huge. So yeah, so I, started writing first started reading first as kind of an escape. I could get lost and I loved getting lost in my imagination in these books. I could really picture what I was reading. So I fell in love with language and imagination and really being able to be now we know it's kind of being transported, right?
Mhm.
Transported into another world of wonder, which is, I don't know, I just love that in every way. Anyway, but so yeah, so I started writing a little bit when I was younger. I remember the first book I tried to write, I titled it My Love, My Life, and it was all about how much I love the Lord, you know. And then I went off and kind of got caught up in, oh, craziness of life, you know, in my 20s and 30s and some of my 40s, and just acted like a heathen. And partied and forgot to write. I stopped reading, you know, and then I kind of met the Lord, and really he met me wherever I was, you know what I'm saying? But then I went back to college and I wanted to get my PhD, and so I had to write a dissertation, and I was clueless. You know, I had been out in the world pretty much uneducated, uneducated except by the street urchins that I hung out with. We were
Luckily, they didn't have a lasting impact.
right. We were in the hood. My language was dude and awesome, and you know, just lots of cuss words too. So imagine I come into Bible college to try to work on this dissertation, and I have no real grid for the academia or academic language that they want me to put my
Mhm.
understanding into words, you know. So I just did it. And it was really just by the grace of God. I say I sat in this one chair. It was during COVID, and I was working on my dissertation. And I sat in this one chair, and I told my friends, I said, I could literally sit here in my bikini in the middle of winter because I'm under a waterfall of grace and I know it. Like these
Mm,
words are coming out of me, and I know where they come from, but
yeah.
I feel like my fingers are actually being led, you know? And I was understanding things that I sometimes I didn't even have language yet to articulate what I wanted to say. You guys can both probably relate.
Yep.
And but I ended up writing that book. It was the my dissertation was on the woman at the well, and the my mentor, who was also a PhD, my mentor for my dissertation, he read it and he said, "Rachel, you've got a book." He said, "In
Mm,
your book, because of your story, is going to impact a lot of women." And I thought, really? This is a book. And I didn't know when I was writing the dissertation, it was 150 pages. And I ended up writing the book. And I turned it into the book called Drink Deep. It's called The Woman at the Well. And it's the whole story of Botini. And then I had a famous author come alongside of me. His name is Dr. Simmons. He actually translated the Passion Translation. And he came alongside of me. He read my book. He loved it. He endorsed it. And then I said, "Would you change anything?" And he said, "I would." And I said, "Tell me what." And he said, "I'd shorten the chapters. And he said, your story is so profound that he said, I would add your story into at the end of every chapter." And so he gave me some great advice,
great.
you know, and so I was really thankful for that. And now my chapters in my books are pretty short. With that being said, I wrote that it's heavy on theology, it's background and history of the time of the woman at the well, the time of Christ. It tells a lot about the Samaritan history and the Jewish history of the day. But then I got a hold of the Mirror Bible, and my whole language changed.
Mhm.
Like I wasn't so much concerned with getting the knowledge out of what I understood. I didn't want to translate the Bible anymore. Really, that's what my theology books were doing anyway. It was taking my paraphrase basically on the Bible. But I didn't want to translate the Bible anymore. I wanted to, oh gosh, I just had this revelation inside of me, this inspiration, and I just had to get it out somehow. And so
Mhm.
I really didn't want to write for knowledge or for a theology, I guess, point of view. I wrote more about the experience of being so loved and adored, and kind of, I feel like left it wide open to for other people to jump in there if they wanted to. Like
Mm,
in my writing, I didn't use me or I as much as I used, you know, pronouns are so controversial these days anyway. And I thought, oh, maybe the pronoun people know something that we don't know. And so I started opening up my vocabulary more for us, we, them, he, she, instead of me and I. I'm not trying to tell you what I believe. I'm inviting you into the conversation of love for you to believe it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized too, this might be a little long, but I started writing out of my journals, like the book, The Year I Learned to Fly. I wrote that out of my journal. And so I was showing my sister this last night. My journals keep getting bigger and bigger. Look, this one is, oh gosh, this is huge. This is
Wow.
like, I don't know, 8 by 10, but it's 365 pages. And so my journal's just like you're talking about, Tina. I write every morning. I can't help it. It's just
Yeah.
how it comes out. But my journals, I've got all kinds of stickers in here. I'm a sticker girl, and I'm a kid at heart. I'm a kid. And so all my pages, I start off with my stickers, and then I just let the love out. And so I told Mandy last night, I said, this is another book. I said, I'm so excited to see what it is, to see what I've written, because the last one that was this thick was a 2-volume book. And so I'm excited to see what's in here. And then to go back and read what me and Papa were talking about, or what he was explaining to me in the mornings. Sometimes I will be the highest person that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Because writing the books, man, it makes me so high to go back and see what the Lord was speaking to me or what we were talking about. And then, so I'll just be so darn drunk and stoned, really writing these books over again. And then this last book, though, I told Robin Smith, she's my publisher too, Tina, and I just love her so much. But I told her, I said, this book almost killed me. This book almost killed me. It was coming out so fast that
Oh,
I
wow.
couldn't keep up with it. Like, and my sister, I live with my sister, so she was like, "Where are you right now? You are not here." And so for 6 months, I was not, I was checked out. I was in another place, and I knew it. And I was just thinking, oh, this, but I couldn't stop it until it was finished. And
Yeah.
so now I'm on a hiatus, really, which is a time of, I would say, research.
Mhm.
Researching. Everything is copy. All my experiences are potential content. I'm like, people will say the craziest things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to write that down. This one lady at my church, she said, I'd never met her before. My dad's on staff at the church, and she walked up to me and she said, "Oh, I know who you are. I see your family in your face." And I instantly just started crying. I said, that means so much to me. What a fabulous way to put that about our relationship and who we come from. We are the Trinity family, man.
Mm.
She was saying, I see Father, Son, and Spirit in your face.
Aw.
Really, she thought she was saying my dad, but I heard it in another way.
Yeah.
I find that everything is content, and I'm having the time of my life. But this last book was agonizing because I couldn't stop working on it. Even though, and I wanted to be at different places. I mean, I was on the beach for the summer and I could enjoy it to a degree, but I was also so just, I had to get this out. And I thought, "Oh, this book is killing me, Lord."
That is so good.
Yeah.
I love the insight into what you guys are doing and have been doing and what he's doing
Cool.
through process from start to finish. Like you said, starting with Laura Ingalls Wilder, and Little House on the Prairie and Nancy Drew. Mine was Hardy Boys more than Nancy, but oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I remember reading books when I was younger. What one was like the Magic Tree House, like all the characters and the different adventures, and I just loved it. And I was just like, I wasn't really a big reader, and I know my son and some of my kids are like, with reading, but I'm like, if I could write something that they would want to read, like that would be exciting. Anyway, but like you said, when you could, like, you had to just keep writing and writing, like you just had to get it out.
Yeah.
When downloads started coming for me, like when it just was like it was, I just remember running around in circles like, oh my gosh, it's like there's just so much. Like I can't get it, like I can't get it out. Like, how do I get it out? Like, there's just more. Like, God, you're so good. You know?
Um,
Yeah.
And that is like, I mean, and it's like writing for us, but that's music for others, or dancing, or cooking, or whatever it is, creating, building, fixing things. Um, that we just have to do what we're made to do. And so I'll tell you guys a little bit about my writing experience, because it's different, and hopefully an encouragement to those who are like, I can't write, or I don't like to write. I've never liked to read. But it's like, for me, when I put my heart, just like, Abba, what do you want for
Mm.
my life? Like, show me the expression of you through me in different ways and what that looks like. So when I was a kid, I read, but not a ton. Like, I read short books, little things. And my main thing that I remember is when I would go to the library, I'd go to the public library, and I would always seek out little books, small, like physically small books.
Mm.
Oh, I should have grabbed him. I found some at some like yard sale last year that were little Velveteen Rabbit and Beatrice Potter little
Mhm.
series, because they were printed in small books. And I loved it as a child, to go to a corner of the library, hide away, under a desk or something, and read small books. And everything had to be cute, dainty, but I loved Beatrice Potter. I loved the Velveteen Rabbit. I loved those kind of stories of redemption, new, hidden, going in, under, and then coming out, and expression,
Mm.
like hidden away, the mystical elements of story. But so my writing, though, actually, the book that has been published, the main one, it was In His Grip: A Walk Through Breast Cancer. And that actually came about in 2000. I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma, stage 3 breast cancer, in 2010.
Mm.
And went through a year of, we had just moved to Houston, had been in Iowa most of our life, and needed to keep in touch with people. And so I started a Caring Bridge journal. And through that Caring Bridge journal, like, I was just doing it because I didn't want to talk on the phone to everybody and repeat everything that was going on through surgeries, chemotherapy, all of those kinds of things, right? And what was going on. So I started medically, but then ended up, what my nature is, just to share what's going on internally, what's happening, what am I learning, what am I experiencing. And it became this blog that ended up like going kind of crazy for 2010. Like, people that I didn't even know ended up following it, because people were just like, oh my gosh, we're supposed to be inspiring you, and you're inspiring us, and this is, like, the world needs to hear this. And so, through encouragement of other people, were like, my gosh, would you consider publishing this? I'm like, I'm not, like, I never consider, I didn't do well in school in writing.
Mm.
I am like the master of the run-on sentence. Like, I can make an entire paragraph one sentence, I'm just like, I'm just pouring it out of the heart. And then it's like, oh, should I be putting punctuation in there? So the journal kind of became like that, and it became Amy language, which then, the three of us were chatting before, and it's like, what do we like that? Where do we conform to religion? Where do we conform to the world? And it's like, oh, well, I can't publish this because it's not like everybody else. Or like you were talking about that, Rachel, when you're in, in that dissertation kind of setting, and it's like, my words are not their words, but then they shift. So this, yes, I would say I was a follower of Christ in that time. I wasn't in this place of oneness, union. I wasn't writing with God. I think of Alan Arnold, who's a friend of mine. He wrote The Story of Writing with God. He is the content person for, if you're familiar with John Eldridge, Wild at Heart, that book and that kind of thing, which actually I introduced Alan to the mirror. And so he's been getting into all of this, which has been
Wow.
That's great.
gift of, but I loved his concept of writing with God, right? It's not for God or doing that, but I was doing it through my journal without realizing it, because that natural flow.
Mm.
And he's like, I want you, Amy, to use your words, your expression, your writing style. And that fear of publishing with different kind of language, finding someone who's helping me edit it. So what I did was I took the journal, I integrated um, reflections a year later on what things I experienced and learned, and kind of an intro story and an outro, and then publish that. And, since then I've had, and it's one of those where I'm like, a little bit of the theology might be a little off, but it's fine. It is what it is for what the purpose is. But now working on, it's just been bubbling up again, this whole thing that both of you guys are talking about. Just in the last 6 months, I know where Abba's like, Amy, let's get this, let's do a rewrite. Let's do another story. I've got a whole nother thing with the beauty and brokenness, and something I share written content with people. I, I have an outline. I've had that story, but it just has been bubbling up, and he's like, it's time.
Mm,
Let's do this. And so having the inspiration, or having others, like just hearing you guys again, it's like, that's when it's in there and
yeah.
it's not coming out, there's a tension, that grows, that he's like, his life, that living expression is like, now it's time, because your language has changed. Everything has changed. This is what people need. And so releasing it, I'm super excited. I've started, but I have not gotten
Yeah.
real far on the project. So it's so fun to be inspired by others that are
Yeah.
further along on this journey, but different. They're just different.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. You guys, and okay, so here's the thing, because if for those that are doing the Mirror Study Bible group, and we're on First Corinthians 3,
Mhm.
and I was just rereading this morning, and in 3:8 it says, our individual assignment does not place the one above the other. We have exactly the same mission. How we succeed or fail in that is of our own account. We are co-employed. 9 says we are co-employed by God. You are God's agricultural field. Or in
Mm,
another context, you are his building, and he's the architect and the engineer of the
mm.
life design.
Oh, that's awesome.
You
That's
know,
beautiful.
we can look at that even in this kind of thing. It's like, it's not about how you write or you write. It's what is he doing, and what are we doing with what has been planted, and when we kind of waken up to that, us co-creating,
Yep.
with him, and come alongside others to be inspired, to be encouraged, to be um, just seeing, I don't know, the unions, the oneness that we share, that just ignites this. Just hearing you guys talk just lights my fire so much. I love it so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I like led by the Holy Spirit, like how it's just cool when you see when like I said, the puzzle pieces, like when he gives you another puzzle piece and another one, and then when you see the puzzle pieces come together, like the connections, it just brings about deeper revelation and deeper like richness, and then you can see another side of the facet of the diamond of what I was trying to show you, and it's really something. It's really something special. Yeah.
So one thing you said, Rachel, earlier was, like, there's something happening. There's this rising of creatives in this season, and people waking up to this um, creative expression of who he is. So, I mean, the world needs it, right? I don't know if you had any thoughts on that, or anything more you wanted to add.
Yeah, I feel like, Facebook and just Amazon, even the way that they have made it so easy to self-publish a book now, people are able to share what's in their heart a lot easier than they were maybe 10 years ago, So maybe the fear factor of getting published or sharing something that people won't like, maybe that's I don't know, dissipating a little bit as people are able to find their freedom and expression. And I feel like too, with religion, after I came out of I don't know, the Western institutionalized church, so to speak, I realized that one of the greatest tragedies of religion is conformity. And so I felt like I wasn't able to truly fly inside of the building, so to speak, which, duh, if it's a cage, then you may not be able to fly. And I'm not saying that for every single place that I've been, but I will say that once I left the institution, so to speak, I felt this freedom to be myself and
Mm,
to write in ways where I was no longer trying to be a Lisa Bevere or a Priscilla Shire or Joyce Myers. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I found my own niche and I'm good at it because it's mine,
yeah.
you know? And so I don't feel pressure to conform to a certain classification of people or a certain kind of writing. I might not be done writing a theology book. I don't know. I'm leaving myself wide open. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that I'm no longer trying to be somebody because I am somebody. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So I've got my own voice. I'm okay with my own style of writing. I write like me. I write like myself. And like how you're talking about, Amy, in this, it's a circle. The family is a circle. And so there is no hierarchy, there's no competition, there's no comparison within the circle as we're all one. And all we get to do is bravo each other in the circle. We just say, wow, dude, what an expression of love you are. Look at love's conversation made manifest in you. What a delight.
Yeah.
And this word, like stepping into this, just ignites that. It just is a natural outflow.
Hmm.
It just is. It's just what's bubbles up has to come out.
And it's funny, he is the word made flesh.
Mm.
Like the word, written word made flesh. Now we see the living expression, we see each other, we see the individual, we see, the value.
The value. Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted to try and do in writing as well. I really wanted for the reader, if even if they're young, to try and see that they do have value, that they do, that they, their identity, and that they're loved. And I think that's important. Like, yeah.
Have,
Yeah, it's
have,
like now we have the opportunity of, I realized the mirror gave me the opportunity to find myself in the story.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I found myself in the story, and then it's like I was given permission to
Yep.
carry on the
Yeah.
story,
Yep.
carry it on in your own way, carry it on. That's why the mirror is so beautiful. It's a free ride, man. It's a blank piece of paper, basically. It's a permission slip to carry on the story. And you be you. You are poetry. You are the penmanship, the workmanship of Abba. And let us see Abba in you. Show us love's expression. You know, I was flying from Atlanta to London not long ago, and halfway across the Atlantic Ocean, or maybe close to the UK, I just woke up in the middle of the night and I had this deluge of inspiration. And I thought like this. There are 8 billion different expressions of love living on this planet right now. I
Mm,
want to hear as many of them as I can.
mm, that.
And love has its energy, its own energy, and love is what will change the world.
Yep.
yeah, it's the
Ooh.
energy source that we keep looking for in every other thing. It's going to be what fuels everything. And as it starts to awaken, and we get to step in, you guys, we get to go and like, not everybody,
Yeah.
but we're waking up to going, how are you conveying that? How are we conveying the love that is bubbling up inside of us? Whether, like I say, like whether that is through cooking or fitness or writing or, my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
million things to
It's
then ignite.
definitely like permission to think outside of the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you want to think of the, you could even consider that the Bible and the way that I was taught the Bible, that was its own box.
Mm,
And so coming outside of the, I don't know, I don't know what you call it. It's basically just renewing your mind, renewing your mind to the truth of what God really believes about us has just been huge for me. And being so enlightened, it comes out of your fingertips pretty much.
It
yep.
does. And it is then effortless.
Yeah. Yep.
You guys, it's so good. So let's take just, if we can, real quick, maybe the last 5 minutes to for those that are like, oh gosh, I feel it, like something's awakening when I hear this, but I just get like in my head about how to move forward, or how what you guys do when those things come up where you're like, I don't know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Where we start efforting,
Yep.
right? Any thoughts on?
So I would just say what's really important is pencil and paper. And that's how I started, just whatever it may be, just like journal or something, like just get it out. Like just start writing. Even if you start writing down on a piece of paper, I don't know what to say, but I know that there's something here that I need to start, like that needs to come out. Just write that down even. So on the paper, and then just let it flow. Let's see, maybe write about what your surroundings are, or what you're seeing. Just start the beauty in the tree that's swaying, or whatever. But yeah, so that's what I would say. Just start, just just get it out. Get it out, and just start with a piece of paper, a notebook, and a pencil. Pencil is great, like hearing it as you're writing it down. Or yeah, that's what I would suggest.
Love it.
I love that too. I would say same as Tina, and then also find a group of people who really believe in you.
Yeah.
Because having people like these mirror word people are crazy. Did you like how I leaned in like Patrick does that on his?
Crazy awesome.
I'll do it at once. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
You did it without your permission. you know, but find a group of people, these
Yeah.
mirror word people are love fanatics with no judgment, no condemnation. Um, and so find a group of people who really believe in you and I don't know, live loved and then right from that, live
Yeah.
love. Find people who believe in you, who value you, who recognize the gift of the human being that you are and go where you're loved. Don't stay where you're not wanted. I'll just be honest with you. I
Yep.
stayed in the church for
Yep.
a long time just out of a false sense of loyalty. People were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you can't leave. Don't quit on us." But the whole time I was um it just wasn't good for me. So find a group of people who really love you. Be free to go where you can bloom. You're planted, bloom, go bloom somewhere. Find people who rain sunshine and raindrops on you. Get around people who make you feel great about yourself and write about that.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Just like you guys, man. We wouldn't be having this conversation if we didn't love each other and find value in each other so much that we wanted to hear each other's words and read what each other is writing and then share it with the world.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, good. Yeah, my 2 cents would be, like you said, write every day. I think one element that we all share in common is we journal most every day, in our own way, whatever those words, just getting words out, just whatever those are, whether and for me, it's not having an expectation that those words are to be published. They
Yep.
are words of letting life express through me. So I love writing with paper and pen, but my new thing has been in the last few years because I have like 10 different journals. Like I can just be too disorganized. So I literally do Google Docs and I do journal 2024. And then I open a new document every month. I go back and I reread the month before, just seeing what Abba was sharing. And then whatever, go back, start a new one, like yesterday, I opened up a new document, and the reason I do the keyboard is, for me, I love to sit. I mean, like, it's like was 40 degrees in the morning, but I go bundle up, put my stocking cap, I go sit on my balcony, and I close my eyes.
Mm.
I just let him talk to me, and
Yeah.
then through the keyboard. And so that allows me to receive. And then from that point, that's where I can give. I first have to receive an absolute willingness to be kind, compassionate, and open to the love. Because
Hmm.
if there's judgment in my heart towards my words, my style, what's coming, then it's going to be conveyed in what comes out.
Yeah.
So I have to receive in order to give it. And that is I'm moving in that different, because before I was critical probably of trying to publish, right?
Yep.
In this effervescent flow of love.
Yep.
Those.
Yeah.
Also removing any, I think it's great to have goals, but they have to be inspired goals, not self-efforting. Like
Yeah.
I just need to finish a chapter
Yep.
because dang it, I have to,
Mhm.
versus
Yeah.
I get to.
Yeah. Yep. That's right. Yeah. So I'll share with you just one more thing. So I'm gonna have my first poem published in it. The book's going to be called Free to Gather. It's a collaborative book put together by I think the Writers Society for the Legacy Society by Robin Smith. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to have a poem in there, and that's going to be like
Congratulations.
a thing. And then and then hopefully the series will come out soon.
I love it. Tina Patch, you're amazing.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's like the collaborative, the body,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
unique expression of everybody. That's really,
And
really,
we each other for sure. Yep.
I loved it. The gathering, the table, and him with you, like everywhere you turn. When I
Yep.
read that copy of that was so, so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep.
You could feel the worthiness coming over as the reader, like you
Yep.
talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Receiving the word.
Yeah. God's good.
Oh man.
Yep.
So exciting. You guys, this was really fun
It was.
and inspiring.
You all,
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
your
Amy.
expressions.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for tuning in, peeps, and thanks for hopping on, ladies. I loved it. Yeah.
Me too. Love you. Thank you so much for doing this, Amy and Tina. And you guys
Enjoy.
are amazing.
Everybody
I'll
is.
read whatever you print. I'll buy whatever you guys put out there.
Yep. Likewise.
I'm on the waiting list.
Looking forward to it on the waiting list. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, people.
Bye,
See you.
everyone.
Bye.